Hi, I'm Becca and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make holly leaves, berries for your card embellishments or for your beading projects. There's different ways that you can make your beads and for your card embellishments as well. So like the simplest bead is these ones that have just got a hole in for you to use at the top. And then we've got some thicker ones that you can actually bead through as well, and I'll show you how to do these ones. Some are glazed, some aren't. I like having the difference between the beads, having some matte and some shiny as well. So they're really easy to do. All you're going to be using is some cutters. This is just a set of 3 cutters. If you haven't got these, you can print off some leaf templates from online and cut them out by hand. It just takes a little bit longer. And then a circle cutter just for measuring out your clay for your berries. So let's get into it and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so we're going to start off with the holly leaves, and we're going to make some beads and we're going to make some card embellishments with these. So I'm going to start out with the thickest ones first, and then I can thin down the clay as we're using them. So this is the thickest setting on my pasta machine, I believe. Yeah, it is. Just double checking. And for the first one, all we're going to need to do is, my cutters, I'm just going to use these little plunge cutters. Now if you haven't got these, you could print off some little holly leaves and use them as a template, or you could draw yourself some first, but I've got these so I'm using these. And I'm going to be using the small one to start with, and with this I just want to use some water as a release, so I just spray it on my work area and just dip the cutter into it. I've got it all over my clay now as well, never mind. And then we just want to push down into it and then lift it up. Now before we take it out of the plunger, if you can see just about on here, it's got a little bit of an impression on. So before you take your leaf out, if you're using these ones, leave it pressed against the till and then push the plunger down, and then when you release it and wait, as you can see it's got that little impression just down the centre of the veins. Now if you want it on both sides, you can just turn it over, and then if you just take your needle tool or a corsage pin, something like that, just press the line down the centre and then do one for each of the curves on the leaf. It's not exactly the same as the other side, but if it flips then there's going to be something there for it. Okay, so you can also go over this one as well if it's not got as much impression as you want in, but that's personal choice. Okay. So there we go, that's the first one. Now because this is the thicker one, what I'm going to do to turn this one into a bead, there's 2 different things you can do. First one is to simply take your needle tool, and near where the base of the leaf is, just about here, oh sorry, it's coming off, I'm just going to push my needle tool through there and just gently make a hole. Now then you've got a lovely little holly bead. Now I'm going to show you how to put some mica powder on these for them to look slightly different. I'll show you the other way first, and then I'm just going to take the same, is that the same one? No, that one. So I'm going to take another one, put the impression in, take it out, and then depending on what wire you want to use, or for whatever project it is that you're doing, you just want to take a small piece of your wire. This is really thin stuff, so this will probably be used on cards or wreaths and things like that. So we're just going to take a little bit of liquid clay. I've just got Sculpey's Bacon Bond. I'll just try and get some more of this because my bottle's looking rather empty. So I'm just going to get a bit of the Bacon Bond on the end, and then I'm just going to gently push into the base of the leaf. Yep. The wire. Now because it is quite thin, the clay, even though it's on the thickest setting, you can just about feel the wire going through. And then that's the other way of doing it. Okay, so that's just by pushing it in, and then this one's just by making a hole. Now if you leave them just as they are, with no holes on or wires in, those are perfect for card embellishments. But there's another way of putting your wire in if you don't want a more thicker bead. I've already cut out some of the holly leaves on, I think it was number 3 when I was cutting them out on the pasta machine. And I'm just going to take 2. So I've taken one that's got the impression and one that hasn't, because for us to do the backing on this one we need one flipped the other way. So you just need one without the impression on, and then you can put your own on in the end afterwards anyway. So you still get it, it's just a different way of doing it. You just get a thicker leaf. So I'm just taking another piece of my wire. So I'm going to take the one with the impression on. So if I can zoom in for you and you can see a little bit better. Okay. Oh, so I have the, I think that might be one that I actually tried using. Now let's get a different one. That's better. So I've just turned the one that's got the impression on face down, and then I'm just going to take my round nose plier and I'm just going to make a little sort of curl at the end. This is just to help keep the wire in. So that's all I'm doing, is making a little loop. And again I'm going to dip it into my liquid clay. I'm going to lay the wire down, push it into the clay a little bit, and then this is when we take our other leaf. So this is the side that I got the impression on. So now we're going to turn it over so it matches up going the other way, and then just marry them up. Now where's my, there we go. Off camera I've got stuff all around me, so when I can't find something it's probably just because there's chaos that you can't see. So I'm just taking my blade, just taking it up, and I've just lined the points up all the way around. And I like to try and get the wire down in the bottom, like sort of the stem of the leaf, and then push them together. You don't want to push too hard because then you'll distort the shape of the holly. And I'm just taking my needle tool and just sort of going over that join, just so that it secures the clay together. Plus it gets rid of any little bits of clay that's got left from the cutter. There we go. So then you've got a wired leaf that's just a little bit thicker than the other ones. If you wanted it really thick, then you'd just go with 2 of the thickest of your settings on your pasta machine if you're using that. If you're not using a pasta machine, you can use some lollipop sticks at either side, stacked up on top of each other, either side of the clay. Then use your roller to roll it out, and then it will go to the same thickness as what you've made the lollipop sticks, or cardboard, just something so it's the same on either side. And that's that leaf. So now what you can do is, I'm going to show you where all of these ones, but these are just what I've got cut out to do afterwards. I'm just going to take, where's my mica powder? Yes, I've got some moss green mica powder, and I'm just going to go over them a little bit just to give them a bit of a shimmer. So I'm just taking a normal paintbrush, dipping it in the powder. I got these powders off of Amazon. I think they were about £15 and they're like 35 colours or something like that. Really good bargain. And then I'm just going to dust it onto the top of the leaves. Now if you're putting this on, you will need to put a sealant on before you use them on anything, because the mica powder will rub off. But it clings to it while you're baking, and then you just put some glaze on it or resin, whatever you're wanting to coat it with, and then flip them over. And to the other side. Now this green's got a bit of a gold tint to it, which I really like. And as you're putting that colour on, it will stick to the impression that comes on with the plunger cutter, and it will highlight it more. Okay, so I'll just show you. Just with this one, as you can see, coming off, it's got a lovely shimmer to it. Just gives that added bit of sparkle shimmer to it, which you always want at Christmas time. So I'm not going to do all them because you'll be bored to tears if you sat and watch me doing all of those. So I've got some that are already baked. Let's pull those out of the way. Now these ones are on the from the largest of the cutters, which is this one, which these are perfect sort of size for if you're doing a wreath or something like that. Zoom out a little bit now, I don't need to be that close. And then these are the ones with the thin wire. And then where's the... oh, these are the ones that we've just put a hole in. Those are good for fringing and dangling. But within the set of plunger cutters there's 3 different sizes, so they can be used for lots of different things. So card embellishments, beads, making wreaths, there's loads of different things that you can do with them, but those are just the first few that I wanted to show you. And then what I've done is I've just gone over the top of them with some Pledge Revive It, just to seal in the mica powder that's on top. I've just used a brush and coated over it individually. If you're doing the beads, you could always string them up like the other ways that I've shown you in videos on how to glaze your beads. I'll link that in the description below. And then this one is what I use some UV nail varnish on, the top coat stuff, and it makes it really shiny and lustrous. I really like these ones. So I'm presuming you'd still get the same thing if you used just the normal UV gel, but I got the nail varnish and it's easier to put it on. So I think I'll be using that when I'm doing any more of those ones. Right, so I'll go and get these all coated, and then I'll be back and show you how to make the berries. Right, so these are the berries that we're going to be making. These are nice and shiny and sparkly, and I've used the same colour nail varnish as what I've got on to make them. I thought they'd be really nice, because we're going to roll them in just regular glitter or the mica powder and then coat them like I've done with the holly leaves. But I thought I'll just try with this nail varnish, and it looks really nice. Plus you don't get glitter everywhere. I love glitter, I love sparkle, but when you get it out you're finding it for days afterwards. So if you've got, it doesn't have to be a UV nail varnish, you could just use a normal red nail varnish and then just have to wait for them to dry. But I'll get to that bit in a minute. So I've just got some red clay, I think it was carmine red or true red, one or the other anyway. And then I'm just going to use some more cutters. Should have got the one out that I was going to use. As you can see, I like cutters. They're good for working out the same amount of clay for each thing that you're going to do. So I've got the smallest one here, and it's on the thickest setting of my pasta machine again. And I'm just going to take some little circles. Don't have to be circles that you use, it's just tiny shape, and it's the one that I generally do when I'm making beads and I want them all the same size. So again, we're just going to take some of our thin wire. I don't know what gauge it is, it's really thin. You could use the thicker stuff if you wanted, but I'm just using this thin one because I've got loads of it and I want to use it up. So I'm just going to take one of these little circles, and I'm just going to roll it into a ball. Then we've got a little berry, and then I'm just going to take my little bit of wire, and again I'm just going to dip it into the liquid clay. Got a bit too much on there, and then I'm just going to push the wire in just a little bit. Don't push it too far or it will come out of the other end. And there. And then you've got a berry. Don't worry if there's any liquid clay coming out of the end of it, because that will help seal it in. I'll just show you once more. So with all the projects that I've got planned, I'm going to need loads of these, but you don't need to be watching me doing it time and time again because you'll be bored silly. So let's just get another little bit of... Oh! I want round nose pliers, I want no wire clippers. I think I've been playing with clay too long this morning. Alright. There we go, got it. Right, I'm going to dip it again. And then just push it in gently. And you've got your berries, and then they're just ready to bake. Now the next step would be, just pop them over there, is to glaze them. So I've got some that I've already baked and ready to go. So if I just grab my, just got my UV nail lamp, which fails. You got a shot there of the bit of chaos that's going around my desk, and it's just to say you don't. Oh, sorry, I'm blinding you there. You don't have to use UV, it's just that's what I've got, and it dries a lot quicker than your regular nail varnish. So I'm just going to take a blob of clay, or you could use blue tack or something that you can stick your berries into. And then the colour I've got is A052. I got this one off of Amazon. It was a set of, I think it was 36 colours or something like that, and it's really, really sparkly. I like this one. So I'm just going to take a berry, just take the most off your nail art, off your brush, because you don't need loads. Now doing this will, one, seal it and glaze it at the same time, and give it some lovely sparkle. There we go. Don't worry if you get any on the wire, it will just help keep it in. And that's all you need to do. Okay? And then once you've done that, if you just poke the end of your wire in there, it will hold it in place for you to be able to put it under the lamp. I put them under for 60 seconds, and then once I've done that, so that they've not got a sticky residue on top, I just go over it with a no wipe top nail varnish, or you could always just use your Pledge Revive It again, or a normal UV gel. This is just what I use. I like the top coat because you've got none of the wiping away with the alcohol and all that malarkey afterwards, and plus this leaves it nice and shiny as well. So I'll go and do those off camera. Okay, I've got all the nail varnish on it now, and they're really, really nice and shiny, and they're perfect for wearing together with your holly leaf beads, or just on your cards for embellishment with your leaves. But they are really, really sparkling, they've got a nice shine to them. I really like them. I'm happy with how they've turned out. So make yourself a good stash of these, because you can use them in lots of different projects, and hopefully I will be doing some tutorials with things showing me actually using these things. Just trying to get them all together so you can see. So even just a bunch of them all wired together just looks really, really festive. I really like those. So that's those. So let me show you the next type of bead. Right, so the next type of holly bead that I'm going to show you is just a really simple one. It's the same sort of process as what we've done with the wire, but we're going to be taking the wire out. So I know that sounds a bit confusing, but you'll see in a second. So I'm just going to take some of the leaves that I've already cut out. So I've got one that's got the impression on. I'm just flipping it over, and then I'm taking this is a T-pin, but you can just use any sort of pin or corsage pin, something like that. What we're going to do is we're just going to lay it down the centre on the back there. This pin isn't staying in, this is just going to be giving us our hole for us to bead through. And then I'm just going to take one of the other ones that's not got the impression on, and I'm flipping it over. I'm just lining the spines up like we did with the one with the wire, and just pressing the sides together. Just like we did before. And then just take another pin or a needle tool, whatever you've got, and just smooth out the joins. Just do it like this. And then before you take your pin out, if you want to put the lines down the back again, just do the same as what we did before. If you leave the pin in to do it, it's going to leave that pilot hole for us to be able to bead through. If you take it out and try doing this, it will squash the hole, and then you're going to end up having to drill your beads, and we don't want to have to be doing that when we've got an easy way of doing it. So we've got that done, and then just gently twist it out. Don't pull too hard because you don't want to squish your bead. Then you've got a bead. So that's where the hole will go, depending on obviously the way that it's laid. And then if you look at the other side, it goes through that way. So this is why I said when you're putting any impressions on or working on it, leave the pin in. Don't take the pin out until you've got all your impressions and you've got your sides finished to how you want them. You don't need to bake them on these. You can do, might just be a little bit awkward you're trying to get them out, but if you can take them out beforehand, then that's even better. So you can put on some of the mica powder if you wish, and then you can glaze it like the one that I've done here. I'll just find it now, it's somewhere in all the kit. Oh, there we go. So I used some thick wire on this one. No, that's the wrong one. I'm looking at. So these are the ones that have got the holes in. Until I've been playing with clay too much today. And these are the really, really tiny ones, but you can just about see where the hole is. And these will be really good for fringe if you're making, you know, a bracelet or a necklace, or some earrings would be really nice to use. But still can't remind up whether to put the resin on these or whether to just coat them with the normal glaze that I use. Honestly, I'm sorry, my brain just really wants to go to sleep. So I'll go and get these baked and then I'll be back. Right, so I've got my leaves and berries baked, and as you can see, I'm really impressed with them. It was a late night thought of doing these ones, and it's been ticking around in my brain for a while, so I thought I'd give it a go. So these are the ones that would just put the hole straight through at the top. That's probably the easiest and more simple. I've not put any of the mica powder on these ones because I wanted that difference between them. I didn't want them all exactly the same. And so as you can see, I've made some that I've got the mica powder on. And then these are some of the beads that I've just shown you how to make, you know, with the hole in for you to do fringing. That's about the hole. So this one's a nice and baked one. So, and then your needle tool, you can just see where it comes through there. So you've got a nice big hole for you to be able to bead through, and then you've got your lovely shiny berries. Ooh. Real good. You could actually make these without the wire. Be a little bit awkward for you putting the nail varnish on things, but if you're using them for card embellishments and you haven't got the wire, you could just make these little balls of red clay, and then you could just press them down so you get the flat backed ones. And in fact, I'll just do that. I've got a little bit of red clay here. So this is if you've not got the nail varnish or wire or anything. You can just take your little ball of clay and then just press it against the table or whatever you're working on, just to make it go flat on the back. Just take it now. Then you could paint these individually, it's up to you, but then you've just got a flat back berry that will stick onto your cards. So that's another option for you to do. So I hope that's inspired you to have a go at making some of your own holly leaves and berries, embellishments and beads for your Christmas projects. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any of them. And if you've enjoyed the video, if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be appreciated. And if you've not subscribed, if you'd consider subscribing, that would be appreciated too. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.